Hello, I am Lucid Dreamer, and I'm here with a crime story that happened back in 1929 in Germantown, North Carolina. It is known as the Lawson murders. You can also get the book Bloody Christmas, Merry Christmas. But I thought I would just kind of do this as a wrap up, some good points. So let's begin. In 1929, days prior to the Lawson murders, Charles, or better known as Charlie, decided to take his family of 9 um, and bought them new clothes and had a family portrait done, which he had never done before. He was a simple farmer, so, especially with that many children, times were tight. The only thing that the community could come up with was the rumor that had been circulating for quite some time that he had impregnated his 17-year-old daughter Marie. Not only that, it is said that he found out that she had told this to her then boyfriend, and they had already arranged plans to run away. And Charlie Lawson was considered a pillar of the community, and, his family was also very well liked. He had his brothers that lived not too far away. Well, back in 1929 it would be, but for us, of course, it wouldn't. But everyone did consider him a well-to-do farmer, and like I said, he was respected. And with his wife, Fanny, they had 7 children. They had Arthur, who was 19, Marie, who was 17, Carrie, who was 12, Maybelle, who was 7, James, who was 4, and little Mary Lou, who was only 4 months old. On December 25th, 1929, Charlie decided to send his eldest son, Arthur, to run into town, which then it was just like, horse and buggy. So Charlie was very aware it was going to take at least 3 to 5 hours for him to get to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and to get back. And he also knew that this son was the only one who was strong enough to stop his just unthinkable plan. 2 of his children, Carrie and Mary Bell, had spent the night at their uncle's house with their cousins. Charlie hid behind the tobacco barn and waited for them to pass by. As soon as they did, he took his 12-gauge shotgun and shot them both right there. And just for good measure, to make sure that they were dead, he also bludgeoned them to death and then proceeded to take them into the tobacco barn. He then walked up to the house, and his wife, Fanny, just so happened to be on the porch, and she was collecting firewood. He shot her right there on the spot. When Marie, who was inside, heard the shot, she screamed, which then led the 2 small boys, James and Raymond, to also scream. They attempted to hide, but Charlie shot Marie as soon as he opened the door. As a matter of fact, as you will see in the picture of the living room, the clock stopped that was on the mantle because of how loud the boom was when he shot his daughter, Marie. Next, he found the 2 youngest sons who had tried to hide. Matter of fact, one of them tried to hide under the stove. When the police arrived, they saw him half under and half out. Then, as just you would think he couldn't get more evil, he went to the baby's crib, Mary Lou, at 4 months old, and bludgeoned her to death in her crib. One thing that the authorities couldn't wrap their mind around, not to mention just the entirety of the situation, was when they found each family member. They all had their arms crossed and had rocks placed under their. Hours later, after Arthur, the eldest son, returned home, the cops were not too far behind. And needless to say, they were all in utter shock. And it had snowed nearly 2 feet plus that winter. And because of the snow, the wagon that they were to place the bodies in to take to town was over 200 feet away from the homestead, which then made not only the eldest son, but all officers involved carry each child out in their arms over 200 feet to get them to the wagon. One officer said that it was so horrific as he was carrying the 4-month-old that he dropped to his knees and he could not do it. He just couldn't. He broke down and then started to vomit. Afterwards, everybody was wondering, well, where was Charlie at? They couldn't find him anywhere. And at this time, they had been at the home for hours. And they just didn't know where could he have went. Finally, after many hours later, they heard one single gunshot. They went over and they found Charlie where he had taken his own life. The community, they just couldn't wrap their mind around it. And that's when the rumors began that Charlie had impregnated Marie, his 17-year-old daughter. Her and her boyfriend had actually already made plans to run away. The boyfriend was very aware of the situation. That made the community speculate that that's why he went ahead and murdered his entire family and then shot himself. There was one other theory, and that was about 2 years prior, Charlie was working in the fields and he had a pickaxe. The pickaxe got caught on a root, and when he came back up with it, it hit him in the head. So they were speculating that from the brain injury he could have had, that could have been a reason for his odd behavior. In the end, the entire family, not including Charlie, were all buried in white caskets. And in Fanny's casket, they buried her with their 4-month-old Mary Lou. Because of Charles' gruesome, horrific crimes, they put him in a black coffin. Yet they still buried the entire family in the same plot. Sadly, the remaining son, Arthur, his life, of course, went downhill. He became an alcoholic and he died in a car crash at the early age of 35. He is buried directly behind his family's plot. This was a tragedy, to say the least, and it is something that has lived this long, almost 100 years. To think that even back in the rural communities that this could happen is mind-blowing. I really hope that you enjoyed my first crime story and my first post about crime. If you would like for me to make more of these, please put a comment. And also, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, bang that like button, and turn on your notifications so you can see any new videos that are posted. Thank you so much. Until next time.